It was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. How about that shot? From that lie to get it that close, tremendous effort. These putts keep the round together. He'll take par and move on. Back on the tee here at the 16th. Frank, lay it out for us. What's ahead on this hole?
Well, even though there's two bunkers, one on the left and one on the right, it's the shortest of the 4 par 5s. You can almost take those out of play and have just a mid-iron in here. But we all know what's coming up.
And now the second shot here at this par 5.
Hazard.
Maybe wet. In the water. Too bad. So the previous shot into the drink. This now the 4th shot. Frank, this is one you don't practice, but sometimes you have to do it. Time for the drop.
Yeah, it should be the easiest shot in golf. You've just paid for it.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
Solid play, heart of the green. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business.
Good read, good line, well played.
Frank, this is a great hole through the years to watch when the pressure is ratcheted up deep into a round. That is all you want at more than 220 yards.
Plays slightly shorter because it's downhill. The bunker's on the left in play. Even the bunker short ride, and of course the water, if you just miss it a bit, that's in play. And the green shapes away from you. This has to be the most difficult par 3 on the golf course. This has to go in the hazard.
He needs to get up or it's so toweled off, dried off, and ready to go.
Yeah, let's hope this swing he hasn't still got the floaties on.
Third shot now after the last one found the deep blue.
Yeah, you can still minimize the damage here. It's only one bad shot that you got punished for.
This one measures 130 yards. Headed for the bunker? That one is in the bunker.
Just too much juicy grass between the ball and the club face. It's always going to come up short out of that sort of light.
All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
You see that kind of work from the bunker? You think of the greats like Seve Ballesteros and Gary Player, the best bunker players of all time. Shouldn't be a problem here. Finally in for a double bogey. Frank, the scene of so much drama through the years, the 18th here at Bay Hill. What's the key?
The fairway is rather generous, but once again it pinches in around 320, 330 yards. You've got to be cognizant of that. And of course that green shapes to the right, so good tee shot makes that second shot a little bit easier. Second shot. Oh, this is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. This now the fourth shot after the last one was in the water.
Yeah, just somehow just get it on the green.
So Frank, he'll take a drop here.
Yeah, he'll take his medicine, take his penalty shot. The hole's not over yet.
Set to go. Not an easy shot by any means. Frank, sadly, I've been there too often. In the water, you get down on yourself. What's the right way to approach this mentally?
Well, you've almost got to take a step backwards, Rich. This can add up so quickly. So give yourself a little pat on the back, say it's fine. I mean, you're human. You're allowed to hit bad shots. But the big thing now is to avoid two in a row.
This is the sixth shot after that previous shot went into the water. Frank, that was a pretty tough lie out of the rough there.
Yeah, it made that actually a little easier than what it really is. It would have been too easy to try and bite off more than you can chew. So I've got to give him a pat on the back for that.
Back in the fairway. Well, once you hit double the par, it's time to just pick up and move on. So another tournament in the books, Frank, and what'd you make of this one?
Quality venue once again, Rich. The standard of courses we're seeing is excellent, and consequently, it's enabling the players to really play some great golf. So, I think golf's the winner today.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports in association with the PGA Tour. The final event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Today it's live opening round coverage of the Tour Championship. Presented by EA Sports in association with the PGA Tour. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo at the famous Old Course, the home of golf in St. Andrews. And Frank, so often, even the greats of the game, when they come here for the very first time, they scratch their heads. And they say, I don't get it. Why all the commotion about the Old Course? And then they play it a few times and they begin to come around. What happens to people after they've played the Old Course a few times?
Well, it's going to sound like a cliche, but you fall in love with it. And I'm like everybody else. When I first played it, I didn't think it was special. Then when I played it the next time, the wind was different the next time. And after all these years, every time you play it, it just appears a little different. But one thing you should do, take a local caddy. They'll point you into some interesting directions to try and navigate all those evil little pot bunkers.
I did take one of the local caddies, and I pulled one left into the junk. And like every other golfer, I turned to my caddy and I said, hey, Jimmy, is that okay? And he said, does that look okay? Hit another one? And I did. Beautiful looking shot right here.
That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, this first hole, all about the Swilken Burn.
Yeah, it cuts in so close to the front of that putting surface. If there's just a puff of wind, then all of a sudden that burn that you could just step across very much comes into play.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Frank, on the second shot here at this first hole, a player will get a good sense of the winds here and how they can play a role at the old course.
And they'll also get a good sense of exactly how punishing this golf course can be, and with such the smallest things. For example, that burn is only about 3 or 4 yards across, and yet it is punishing, to say the least.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Good putt, and now 1 under par. So a tester from 4 feet. One under early in the round. Now to the second hole here at the Open Championship. And Frank, what's the best way to attack?
Ideally, if you're not the longest hitter, just down the right side. But if you've got some wind conditions, wind behind your back, you can nearly drive this green.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards.
Ah, nice.
Looks good. Ready for a second shot, trying to knock it on the green. Regarded as a very accurate player, that shot says it all. Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. One thing about the old course at St. Andrews, it is not just the golf course, which makes the experience so memorable. It's the setting. It's the small town. It's people hanging out of the windows and watching. It's all the history. You just bathed in it when you walk into that grand old town of St. Andrews. Drops the putt to go to 2 under. And this will be a 5-foot putt here. So 2 under early on. On the tee box here at the third now, Frank, all of these holes look relatively straightforward. Can a golfer get lured in kind of a false sense of security off the tee here at the old course?
No, well, you can. This hole, the third hole, even shorter than the second, so reachable. But a lot of people tend to bail out towards the left. That's the middle of the golf course. And that leaves you a devilish little pitch or short wedge across that big gaping bunker that protects both the third and the 15th green. So once again, want to drive the ball down the right side, but there's a series of pot bunkers there.
they'll be pretty happy with that 290-yard poke off the tee.
Oh, beautiful swing, and the result is every bit as good.
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
That will be a great look at birdie. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Locked in on the read and the speed. Nice solid start to the round. Tee to green looks to be in command.
Yeah, it's surprising. I thought he might have been a little shaky out of the gate, but certainly proved me wrong.
So in the early going, already -3. Frank, a much more difficult hole here at the 4th at the Old Course.
Yeah, that new championship tee has really made 4 a very hard par 4. 2 ways to play it. Down the right, that's a very, very narrow strip of fairway. Most will go to the left side, a little more conservative. But either way, tough second shot.
Right where they were aiming, in the fairway. It is a windy day out here, Frank. My hat just blew off. This is going to affect the players' shots, that's for sure. This, the second shot here at the par 4. Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie. Second shot, good look at the green.
Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle, really. This is an awkward length.
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Just a couple of feet. Nice par to remain 3 under. Could use this one. This is for par. Did the job right there. Par 5s, this is where players look to make the move in a major championship. How does this 5th hole par 5 measure up, Frank?
Well, if you can avoid the bunkers, they're actually left and right, but especially that little group of 3 bunkers, then it sets up well. It'll be a blind second shot, but you try and guide your second shot between the 2 bunkers on the hill in front of you, which are called the spectacles.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Now from a good position in the fairway, his second shot. Safely aboard. And he steps up to take this shot from the fairway. This has really been an airtight performance to this point, just flawless. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Looks like he just misread that. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. I don't know, maybe lifted right there, just sort of peaked. This is a 9-footer. You have to like that. 4 under. He has this attempt for par. Keeps the momentum going with that putt. Stays at 3 under. Now to the 374-yard par 4/6. Another scoring opportunity.
Yeah, just be very careful of the wind conditions here because that'll affect the strategy off the tee. But bunkers left and right to be avoided. Game's about rhythm. When you have good rhythm, it just looks effortless. To hit the ball 300 yards through the air, that easy.
That ball's run out certainly over 300 yards, Frank. Call it about 310. Chance to set himself up for a good scoring opportunity with his second shot here. Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
This is a cross-country special. Ooh, that hurts. That's all he wanted to do there.
Yeah, it's touch. And when you think from that distance, chances of making are almost none. So to guarantee a 2-putt, well done.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Getting set now over the putt. Knocks that putt in for par to stay at 3 under. Back here at the Open Championship on the 7th hole here at the Old Course.
Yeah, blind tee shot. This is one hole that really does advantage the long hitter. They can get it very close to this green, but this green has got some amazing undulations in it.
He makes a great pass at the golf ball. It's powerful, but it's rhythmic at the same time. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. And he's set up for his second shot here, looking to knock it on the green. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
This is a good-looking shot. He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Strong winds continue to be a factor. Frank, I know you've played all over the world. How much did you enjoy the challenge of playing into a stiff breeze?
Well, it was a chance to separate yourself from the rest of the field, Rich. Just like these conditions we're seeing right now. You've really got to be smart. Pick the right shot. If you get too aggressive on a day like today, you'll pay a far more severe price than normal.
Club selection obviously is crucial.
Oh, it's imperative today.
Take an extra club or two, choke down.
Very much so.
Dude, that in the hole. Tremendous shot. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Starting to put something special together. 6 under par. Frank, now at the par 3 8th, and how challenging is this hole?
Well, it's called short on the scorecard, but massive green. The problem here is trying to hit it close. A lot of little subtle breaks and undulations in this green, and often you see long birdie putts here. Safely on deck.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Frank, what's the best way to get at the golf ball when it's sitting down just a bit in the rough?
You have to accept the fact, first and foremost, that you're not going to get clean contact. So you have to decide whether the ball's going to come out short or it's going to fly. Because very rarely will it come out the normal distance of what you hit on the fairway. So if it's a little thin and wispy, chances are it might fly. If it's nestled down, you're going to have to take at least another club.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. No problem at all. Good putt, and stays at 4 under par. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Frank, the old course all about avoiding the pot bunkers. They're so nasty. This is a good example here, the 9th hole.
Yeah, the pot bunkers really to be avoided are the ones in the middle of the fairway, but there are some that sneak in on the left side, plus that gorse on the left. If you can carry that last one, which is called the end hole, then there's a chance to perhaps drive this green.
You can play it from there, 300 yards away and in the fairway. Frank, no reason here to think we're going to see anything other than another good shot.
Yeah, in a great flow, and golf like this looks easy. Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
That is classy.
A chance of going in.
Ready for a second shot, trying to knock it on the green. Locked in on the read and the speed. With that, moves to 5 under par. He has a birdie opportunity here. 8 under par, with a round. Setting up to start the back 9 here, and if it's anywhere near as good as the front 9, Frank Hill will be very happy with his score at the end of the day.
Yeah, the hardest thing right now is to just keep doing the same thing without focusing on the score. Oh, I liked that.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. From about 8 feet. Frank, just a surgical touch out there.
And the scorecard reflects yet another birdie.
And that's a birdie. Frank, number 11, the Eden, is really one of the more fascinating holes in all of golf.
Yeah, the two bunkers that the players normally worry about, Strath bunker in the front and the Hill bunker to the left. What makes those two bunkers so difficult is the steepness of the faces in them.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Terrific golf shot. And now, that for an easy birdie. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Continuing to play well. -7 now after that putt.
Second shot.
10 under par on the day. Frank, how do you like the 12th hole here at St. Andrews?
Well, it's a beautiful par 4. You start to see the village of St. Andrews in the background, Eden Estuary to the right, and also decision time. If you're long enough, it's certainly worth having a crack at this par 4 with your tee shot. But if you're not a long hitter, then you've really got to worry about those 4 beautifully and well strategic positioned bunkers in the middle of the fairway.
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
Look out left.
And there's rough over there.
We moved that one out there, but he is not going to like the lie.
That moved down in the rough.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Early part of this second nine, a good approach shot. Now, pretty good chance for birdie. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Going to move on with a par in his pocket. Did the job right there. Moving on now to the par 4 13th. Frank, what's the strategy here?
Once again, to avoid those pot bunkers, the first one is called nicks, and then the other two up ahead, once again, they're called the coffins. Somehow you've got to go right or left of those or beyond those. If you can go in the exact right position, which is slightly left center, you will actually have a full view of this green. The left or right of that, then it's a blind second shot.
A great way to start a hole, nicely placed in the fairway. Frank, you played in conditions all over the world. Here come the winds now. What's the mindset?
Well, this is really what separates the men from the boys. This is where you've got to tell yourself, and it's an advantage to you. Obviously, the scores will go up a little bit, given the conditions. But once again, this is going to suit the stronger player today.
You like the old phrase, swing easy when it's breezy?
Definitely when you're hitting it into a head breeze. But if down breeze, tee it up a little bit, try and ride that wind some more.
The second shot now to the par 4. On the green, and a chance for birdie. This shot, a full 200 yards. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Well, you could see he thought he had that.
It looked in the whole way until the end.
Well, you couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it.
It's that sneaky distance. Now, just when you thought they might pick up one, now settle for a par.
And this will be a 5-foot putt here. Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par. He has this attempt for par. Good round going at 6 under. Frank, the 14th is a big par 5, chance to make a big move, but also possibility of making a big number if you're not careful.
Yeah, you've got to be very aware of the out of bounds on the right side, even though it does move to the right. Ideal tee shot is down the right side that gets very close to that, because then that opens up the second shot and keeps that tee shot away from that crop of bunkers called the birdies. There's a big cross bunker up ahead that has to be avoided for the second shot. If you're long enough, you can reach this par 5 and 2, but this green with so many undulations that it is anything other than flat.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Second from an excellent lie.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. In the bunker, still with a chance for an up and down. Right in the heart of the fairway, green light special. Frank, this one's headed way right.
And rough trees, all sorts of problems on that right side.
And this third shot, it's about 125 yards, Frank. Playing a par 5, Frank, what happened on that third shot?
Yeah, it's a poor decision. But, well, hopefully he can eradicate that from the memory banks and really knuckle down on this. Do not want to drop a shot or make 6 here.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. And getting ready for the putt. Well, you can see it there. Feels very good about what he's doing. That's a nice par putt. Stays at 6 under. Just a couple of feet. You always like that. Count it as a birdie. Frank, one of the things I always loved about links golf is that you're not aiming at a flagstick or a tree, but sometimes you're aiming for a steeple in the distance, and this is a good example here at the 15th.
Yeah, the church steeple is the exact line off the tee. That gives you sort of the center of the fairway. Really, you don't have to be overly bold off the tee. This is about just finding a nice flat lie for that second shot, because this is another difficult green that's well protected by just one little bunker that's in the front left that you don't think comes into play. But if your second shot doesn't land the right distance, more often than not, it just gets swallowed up by that.
Superb position, right in the fairway, and 200 yards to the flagstick. Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
This is a good-looking shot. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Yeah, that's a good putt right there. From that distance, he'll settle. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Knocking down all the shots today, now at 13 under. He has this for par. Good, confident stroke. That's what you like to see. Putting for par. Stays at 6 under. Frank, the 16th hole, there was a time in my life when I was in 4th grade, I would have really enjoyed hitting the principal's nose. But that's not a good thing here?
Well, I'd like to think you graduated past 4th grade, but and if you did, then you'd be very aware of the principal's nose. You'd hit it left, it'd be a little longer into your second shot.
Right where they were aiming, in the fairway. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie. Chance to set himself up for a good scoring opportunity with his second shot here. Good swing, good shot yet again.
She's at awkward length. Oh, another one goes in.
These putts keep the round together. And he has it for birdie. Now at the 17th tee, and Frank, this is really when you begin to feel the weight and the history of the old course bearing down on you.
And you also feel the nerves as well, because you're having to hit it not just at a fairway or over a bush, but over the corner of an out of bounds. And you'll see there's a little sign up there that says Old Course and Country Club. So you've got to pick the exact letter for the line that you want to hit it across. Hit it down the right side. This hole certainly becomes shorter. Left, you find the left and short. You find the road hole bunker. A little right and long, and well, there's a chance of going out of bounds or on the road itself.
Now from a good position in the fairway, his second shot.
This is not heading in the right direction.
It looks like it's going to be in the rough. And it looks like it's in the rough there, Frank.
It might not be as bad as it looks.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
I like the looks of this one. So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot. Frank, anything you do differently from the rough in terms of your swing? Do you hinge the club a little bit more quickly?
No, normally put the ball just a little bit further back in your stance because you want the club to be going down. Down, it's got to go down through the grass, through the ball.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. He'd settle for par here. Shouldn't be a problem here. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Just 5 feet left. This has a good ring to it. Minus 14. Frank, here at the 18th, so much history has been made through the years.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories, I remember Jack Nicklaus when he beat Doug Sanders in that playoff. The famous sort of short putt that Doug Sanders missed. But really, the great moment that stands out was Seve making that 15-footer across the hill in 1984 wearing the blue sweater. Not only did he win the Open Championship, but he beat a tremendous field that included Bernard Langer, Tom Watson, Fred Couples, Lanny Wadkins, Faldo, and Greg Norman. It was an amazing Open Championship.
And I love that fist pump. It was pure Seve. All that fire, all that passion came flying out. And that's where you just sort of fell in love with the game. That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Second shot. Good look at the green.
Should be safely on deck.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Has 80 yards left. Frank, these days golfers are training like high-level athletes from other sports. Rory McIlroy, for example, has been using a guy by the name of Steve McGregor, who happened to be the trainer for the New York Knicks of the NBA.
And part of his training now is high altitude. The majority of the medal holders, for example, in the Olympics, or medal winners in the Olympics, actually use high altitude training. You can develop more red blood cells in a shorter period of time. But, golf, we've had so many different types of training from the athlete side. But you go back to the old days of Henry Cotton beating an old tire. Vijay Singh picked up on that. Or even the rhythm of Sam Snead. He used to count in the rhythm. It was 1, 2, 3. It was 1 at the top of the swing, 2 at impact, and 3 at the follow-through. All those things are still very valid today.
That finds the bottom of the cup. We'll call that a birdie. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. He's made it. Frank, you have to like what you saw out there today.
I certainly did. Swing is excellent right now. Stroke, there's nothing wrong with that. Really, just it's a case of getting out of your own way. The opportunities ahead now, chance to win, just they have to be so motivating.
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Today's coverage brought to you by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. We are at one of the most famous venues in all of golf. It is the stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. You know it well, the famous Island 17th. Rich Lerter alongside Frank Nobilo, and it has really grown in stature through the years, hasn't it, Frank?
It has. I think people have got to know the venue, the various holes, and actually on that subject, 17, which you've already just referenced. Remember, this is the one hole on this golf course that was designed by not Pete, but his wife Alice. They'd designed 17 holes, but they needed one more, and they tried to fit one in between 16 and 18. And Pete Dye, when he was talking to his wife, said, "I'm stuck." And his wife said, "Why not just put one out there, a little island green?" Pete Dye said it would never work. Well, in this situation, Alice was right.
Alice, a great player in her own right, an amateur champion. This is the home not only to the Players' Championship, but also headquarters to the PGA Tour. Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. He makes a great pass at the golf ball. It's powerful, but it's rhythmic at the same time. Frank, you want to get off to a good start. This approach shot here at the first is important.
It is. Two distinct levels on this this green, the high side on the left there and the lower side on the right. If you're trying to keep that ball a little left of a middle, you've got to be careful of that bunker on the left. Oh, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man.
This requires a lot of speed through the ball. This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Welcome to TPC Sawgrass, known for one of the most terrifying holes in all of golf, the 17th Island Green. This is Rich Lerner alongside my colleague Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. And we'll be calling all the action for today's event. Frank, you're no stranger to this layout, one of the most demanding golf courses on tour.
Well, it certainly is. There's water abound. This course is famous for its tragedies as well as its triumphs. But if you get through here successfully, then you can certainly pat yourself on the back.
Well, this one's sweet, Frank.
Super.
Frank, you want to get out of the gates quickly, hit the proper approach shot here at the first. What does the player need to look out for?
Well, there's two distinct levels to this green. There's that left side and then that collection area to the right side. Flag on the top, it's a very, very difficult shot because that bunker plump comes into play. This is way left going left.
And that one's going to be in the rough, it looks like.
Well, it's a little absurd, that, Rich. The shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. Well, this one should be safely on deck here. getting set now over the putt. -1 and really going.
Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either.
That's a par, and that keeps the scorecard clean, still even for the round.
Second hole here at Sawgrass, 532-yard par 5. Frank, considered one of the easier holes on the golf course, is that right?
Yeah, you don't have to hit it miles down there. Anything that turns a little to the player's left certainly helps. There are some trees down the left side. Just want to avoid those.
Frank, not overly long, but still a pretty good spot and in the fairway.
Yeah, that's in that 280 mark.
And from the fairway for his second shot here. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
From a perfect position, ready to play his next shot. You want to get to what they call the gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18 with a chance. 16 is the reachable par 5. You can make eagle there. And then the final 2 holes, you just want to steer clear of trouble. Though, with bold play, and you mentioned it with Craig Perks, you could make birdies.
It really is a case of mind over matter when you look at those holes. You're right. If you took away the water, you'd think they're 3 nice holes. But it wouldn't be the same. You intimidate the player as he plays 15. He's well aware of the finishing 3 holes. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Needs a pair of binoculars to see the hole.
Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. Locked in on the read and the speed.
That may have been a bit too much to ask for there, that distance putt, Frank.
Yeah, it's fine to be greedy before you hit the putt, but after you've hit it, 2 from that distance is fine.
And this will be a 5-foot putt here.
It's a -2 early in the round. Still playing even for the day after the par. Frank, a nice mix of holes to start. So here we go with a par 3 at the 3rd.
Very narrow at the front of the screen, and that bunker too. You don't actually see it off the tee, the back left bunker, and it sneaks into that left side. So if that flag is on the left, just be careful.
Frank, looks like he came over just a little bit.
Yeah, that one wasn't pretty, but it's still gonna get away with it.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now. Second shot.
Yes, he's holed it, Frank.
Unbelievable. From that distance.
No problems early. Looks good.
Does look good. This bodes well. We might be in for a very, very low round today. Oh, I liked that.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag. This looks like it's going to find the target.
On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. Frank, the second here at the fourth is a dangerous shot.
Once again, this is another example of where you have to look at the green. Where exactly is the flag? If it's on that high portion, you've got to fly it all the way back.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
As this one for par. Stays at 1 under with that par. So just a formality here. Good putt and a good move. Now to 4 under. Fifth hole here at TPC Sawgrass. Long par 4. What's the challenge, Frank?
Depending, really, if you're long or short hitter, the long hitters have the luxury of taking it over the corner of the bunker down the right. Shorter hitters really play at that bunker down the left, 320 run out.
Always so nice, Frank, when that gleaming white golf ball is sitting up on those emerald fairways, the way this one is.
The game almost appears easy when one is playing their second shot from the middle of the fairway, and you quickly forget how difficult it can be. You look left or right, the game becomes much harder.
.200 yards left to where that hole is cut.
this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. "190 yards now for this second shot." This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Good work right there. He'll settle for par. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, this isn't a hole that sort of jumps out at you the way, say, 17 does.
Yeah, a lot of times people will just sort of gloss over it, but anytime you get a par 4 under 400 yards, it's a great opportunity. But once again, a positional hole. Take advantage of it.
Frank, not the longest hitter, but sometimes you win tournaments by putting it in a good spot, and that's where we are right here, 280 yards out.
Yeah, 280 down the middle of the fairway. That'll never get you in trouble.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Birdie try up next. Frank, how do you size up the approach shot now at the 6th?
Ideally, you'd want to have a good yardage in here. Something where you can hit a nice, high, lofted short iron to make sure that you don't mess with those palm trees.
Good looking shot right here. And getting ready for the putt. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Just 5 feet left. Has his par. It's a very makeable putt here. He is currently 5 under for his round. 6 under par now.
Frank, what do you think of the 7th?
Interesting par 4 for 2 reasons. The undulating green on the end of the hole that also shapes to the right, that makes it look like a dogleg right. But really, you want to play that tee shot just inside those pot bunkers down the right side.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Frank, you've been there. What's the best way to approach this next shot at the 7th hole?
There's a lot of mounding on this 7th green, to the right and the left. You can use those mounds to kick the ball to the flag. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here. Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie. Great professionals, Frank, they don't fear the greenside bunker shot, do they?
No, because you can be as aggressive or as conservative as you want. You actually have far more options, and you don't have to hit the ball first.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt.
Just when you think you're going to make birdie. Now, have to really concentrate on this and at least make par.
Well, you can see it there. Feels very good about what he's doing. That's a nice par putt. Stays at 6 under. So a tester from 4 feet. And he makes it for par. Frank, 17 here at TPC Sawgrass gets all the attention when you look at the par 3s. Justifiably so. But number 8 is a daunting challenge in its own right.
It is, longest of the 4 par 3s. Plus, it's just littered with bunkers around the side, the back, and the front.
Well, he's on the green, but still plenty of work left. About a 25-footer coming up. Offline, and I think that one's headed for the rough. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
That may have been a bit too much to ask for there, that distance putt, Frank.
Yeah, it's fine to be greedy before you hit the putt, but after you've hit it, 2 from that distance is fine. Oh, what a bonus.
Makeable putt right here, currently sitting at 1 under for the round. Clean this up with a tap. So with that, the score is now at even par.
Frank, now at the ninth, this really is one of my favorite par fives in the entire sport.
And I certainly enjoy watching people play it today, Rich. It used to be unreachable, but the longer hitters now, we're starting to see them go for this par 5 regularly in 2. And the reason why they start to hit the drive more down the right now than what they used to. People used to try and go down the left side. The right side, it hugs the water, but you get a better view of the second shot.
Second from an excellent lie.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
It's going to be in the rough, it looks like. And into the thicker stuff.
Let's see if he can bludgeon this one out. Second shot.
He'll need to be strong with this.
Well, that's a smart shot. A lot of people would have tried to be a little more heroic from there, but there was no need.
Back on the fairway, back in play. Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. Still not home yet, playing his fourth. Getting set now over the putt.
great sense of speed in that. You know you can make those, but that one right in the middle.
Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Still playing even for the day after the par. Frank getting set now for one of the more exciting back nines in all of golf right here at TPC Sawgrass.
And it starts at 10. It looks like a dogleg to the left, really, but you've got to play it as a straightaway tee shot. The run out just over 310 yards. Got the measurement out there, Rich. Looks like 290 yards.
Second shot now at the 10th, and again, Frank, accuracy is at a premium.
Yeah, gone are the days to sort of thrash it out of the trees like Phil Mickelson. Ideally, coming out of that fairway, you're hitting to a green that moves to the right, so that makes it a little bit more difficult than what the mind's eye first sees.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
That's still not done. A good third shot, maybe get away here with par.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play, very solid. Oh, without a doubt, that will be on the highlight reel later tonight. Excellent shot. Now his third. Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. That's a par, and that keeps the scorecard clean, still even for the round. Now to the 11th, par 5.
Good tee shot, and then you certainly think about hitting a hybrid or a lofted fairway wood into this green that's really narrow, one of the narrowest on the golf course. There's a little pot bunker left of this green when you go for 2 that often swallows up that second shot if it's a little bit too conservative. But there's a lake there. Seen more than one ball splash in the pond over the years.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Frank, can one small tweak from an instructor lead to a big turnaround?
With the right player, yeah. You just want to hear the right message. It's like anyone in life. You just want to be pointed in the right direction.
Headed for the bunker? In the thick stuff.
Thick. It's brutal out there.
Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another.
Frank did the prudent thing there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the end, really, you could have turned that into a disaster instead. Actually, a good chance, really, to perhaps get away with par. That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, from this point, it is all about precision.
Yeah, that right side, you're looking at that big gaping bunker. And that green's not very deep from that angle. This looks like it's going to find the target.
That one inside of 10 feet, really dialed in. All right, Frank, the 11th is a reachable. What's the right strategy?
Well, it feels like that green should be about another 30 or 40 yards to the right, Rich. Makes the player aim left, and it's such a narrow green, but it's worth the risk.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. Makes the putt and goes to 1 under. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Trying to stay steady, make a par. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Up to the 12th, Frank, and a good birdie chance here.
Yeah, good old length, short par 4. This green really divides itself into about 3 sections. There's a little piece to the right, piece short left, and the one at back left. So as long as you know where the flag is, just push that ball into the section where it is. You get up there, you're only going to have 10 or 15 feet left for birdie. I'm loving that balance. Oh, nice little bounce forward. Should be close to 300, 290.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
On the green, and a chance for birdie. Just trying to make clean contact from the rough. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Nice par to remain 1 under. Frank, 17 gets so much attention here at the exciting in its own right.
It is, and it's actually more difficult than 17. One of the reasons it's longer, and also the green here. 17 obviously has two sections in it, front and top. This has, I don't think there's a flat piece on it. And every now and again we watch the ball roll all over this green and actually find the cup for the odd ace.
Well, he's on the green, but still plenty of work left. About a 25-footer coming up. Looks like he came over just a little bit.
Yeah, that one wasn't pretty, but it's still gonna get away with it.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No, just a good putt, though. There's no two ways about that. He's putting well.
Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Frank, that looked good to me. Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par. Give me a break, Rich. Your mum could make that.
Ooh, that's a disappointment, Frank. Trying to move on with a par in his pocket. He'll take par and move on. Frank, this is where you want to step away from the controller for just a second.
Yeah, good. Mr. Good just met Mr. Bad.
And through the years, Frank, it has gotten the best of the best, hasn't it?
We've seen Tiger Woods hit it left. We've seen Vijay Singh hit it left. We've seen so many players in the water down the left. Conversely, many a championship's been lost by hitting the ball up in the mounds on the right.
You take 4 here and run to 15?
I would sprint.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Frank, there's a lot to factor in on this approach at the 14th.
You can favor right side of this green and sort of allow the contours of the green just to move that ball to the left.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
How does that not go in?
Amazing. Stroke looked good. Line looked good. Just did not take that final break.
This one just requires a little bit of focus.
Oh, good roll. Good putt.
Just 5 feet left. And he makes it for par. Back to the TPC Sawgrass, the 15th hole. It's a par 4 as we make our way to this finishing stretch. And Frank, what's in store for the players here?
Another one of those par 4s around 450 yards. Ideally hit it tee shot down the right side, keeping it away from that bunker. But that's a flat bunker down the right with no lip, so it's still not too bad. Biggest problem here is that green. So many undulations on this green. Oh, if this is up, it's good. Oh, it's fine.
Frank, you've been around this game for a pretty long time. Are players, in fact, more athletic today than they were, say, 20, 25 years ago?
There's no question, Rich, they are. That we've borrowed from other sports. If you can't make the player better, you can make them more athletic. And in the end, you're still making the golfer better.
Hey buddy, you alright? Ah, Huntington Beach. I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah. Yeah. It's I'm hopefully going down to the beach tomorrow here. down the west coast. So looking forward to it, actually.
Frank, what's the key on this approach here at the 15th?
Well, knowing exactly where that pin placement is, Rich. There's mounding, there's that little gut out of the right side of the screen. If you miss your mark here, that ball can easily...
Thank you for watching my videos, man. I appreciate it. I've been watching a lot of yours, actually. Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, I've been thinking about getting it, to be honest with you, but I think I'll wait for a little while. It's let me just turn up the lighting a minute on the bear with me 2 seconds. That's better. See me now. Yeah, no, I do need to get Crash Bandicoot because I adored the originals, so I'm very much looking forward to playing the new versions. It's definitely a trilogy that I think is worth owning on the PS4, and it's something good to stream as well. Oh, hell no.
And getting ready for the putt.
I'm taking the rest of my dad's shot because he went to bed, bless him, he's really tired.
May have lost track at home,
so,
but we're keeping count, and that is 9 under for the day. Just a couple of
gonna
feet.
mix it in.
Now at -2 for the day.
Yeah, God, I love the classic. Honestly, mate, for me, number 1 and number 3 are the optimum of PS1 games. Like, I'm a huge Super Mario 64 fan, but if I'm being completely honest with you, I was more impressed with the graphics on Crash Bandicoot on the PS1 than I was with Super Mario 64, and I love Super Mario 64. But I remember when Crash Bandicoot came out, I was like, wow, that actually looks better than what I saw on the N64. Pulp Fiction. God, I adore Pulp Fiction. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Pulp Fiction is one of my favourite movies.
He makes a great pass to goal.
Also has one of my favourite lines to finish a film. Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Yeah, looking forward to Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I got my Switch, so I haven't been doing too much on my Switch recently, so that should get me back into my Switch. I need to get back onto Mario Kart on the Switch. I'm looking forward to when you can stream on the Switch come November, because it goes live, the paid service. Oh God, that's actually...
That was just a gutsy shot right there, and a good look at Eagle coming up. Looks like he's going to have a go at it here at the par 5, his second shot.
Oh, come on, that's going to be a good shot.
This is that awkward length.
Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese. So what are you doing on the beach today, dude? What, you surfing? That's what I'm hopefully going to do. Ooh, hello. That's what hopefully I'm going to be doing. Maybe not tomorrow, but one of these weekends. Go down to Weymouth and do a bit of surfing. I haven't surfed in ages. Something I used to really love doing, so I pretty much just dress in surf gear, to be honest with you, all the time anyway, so anybody who knows me know that I'm just a t-shirts and shorts kind of guy. You know, so as soon as the sun's out, I'm
beloved longtime
in t-shirts and shorts, like you see now.
He taught Ben and Tom Kite and some others to play from, as he said,
I hardly ever wear trousers. It's always shorts, t-shirts and
We all
shorts.
like to drive it a long ways, but Harvey stressed the importance of the little shots, and obviously it paid off with Ben Crenshaw.
Have you seen Logan? Because I know you're going to say some other movies apart from Marvel and DC, but I love Logan. I just bought it, and I say just bought it. I bought it last week. Oh,
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
yes.
Yeah, that was just some shot on the easy
Oh my
birdie.
God, I haven't seen Split yet, but I've watched. I love Unbreakable. It's one of my favourite movies of all time, and I love Chronicle. I adore Chronicle. Yeah, but Unbreakable I adore for a very specific reason. I'm a huge Superman fan, and Unbreakable is actually based on Superman the movie. If you watch it, the character Bruce Willis, with the whole comic thing and everything, it's based on Superman. A lot of people actually don't know that. I don't know if you know that, but that's why I love that film. It's a brilliant interpretation of this. Oh, damn, that would have been a hole-in-one. Yeah, I like Hancock. Hancock's a very good film. Very underrated, actually. A lot of people kind of, they sideline that movie because they say, oh yeah, it's not as good as, like, you know, the likes of,
Looking to make the move. This putt for birdie.
they say it's not, like, you know, like as good as the likes of kind of other, like, you know, really classic superhero movies, but I like my comedy superhero
Like the
movies.
sound of this. 11 under par for the round.
Yeah, well, Max Landis, the guy behind
Now one of the more difficult holes in golf.
Chronicle.
18th here at Sawgrass.
I think he's a genius. Don't know if you ever watched him on Screen Junkies and stuff. And the guy's an absolute madman. I love him. And for me, he's the reason I love that film so much.
Just that big body
I
of water,
love Chronicle. It's
that's
such
to the
a.
left of-
Hang on,
of 18
wasn't
here
Max
that's
Landis,
also
was it?
shared to
Yeah, it
the
was.
right
It was
of
Max
9.
Landis
Not a
and the guy who
single
did.
fairway bunker on this 18th hole. So really,
Fantastic
lack of
Four.
definition. It's so hard to
Yeah,
find a
I know.
target.
I need to watch Split. Considering I'm somebody who adores Unbreakable so much, I need to watch it. I know James McAvoy is amazing in it. I've heard all the reviews. Again, I've always believed in M. Night Shyamalan. I like all his films.
Nice.
I think I'm probably one of the few people in the world who likes Lady in the Water. I get why people say it's a crap movie, but I kind of enjoyed it.
Really challenging second shot here.
I like his
home hole, the
films. You know, I like The
They have to
Village.
be decisive
I
going
like
in
The
here.
Happening.
You see all the trouble in front of
I
you.
like all his
Water left,
films.
that mounding on
I can see the
right.
faults in
Neither
them,
place really is good to
but he's
go.
never really
So
disappointed
somehow
me,
you
to be
gotta
honest with
muster
you.
up your best shot.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Well, no,
No problem here.
I
That's
say
gonna fly all
The Last Airbender.
That is an excellent play right
But you know
there.
what?
The approach.
I've seen worse
Another good
films.
look.
It just wasn't a good interpretation of.
Frank, it's all
Last
about
Airbender.
focus and positive imagery,
But if you,
isn't it, here in this
you can't
approach
really
shot at
separate it from The
18.
Last Airbender.
You
But
have to be precise
as an
with
action
your target
film,
here. You can't be looking left in
I've
the
seen-
water
I've
or
seen worse
mounds on the
films.
right. Plus, there's all the mounding
it's like
on the
I wouldn't
screen.
like
So,
watch
in the
it
end, look at
again.
the flag, aim at the flag,
but-
go there.
Yeah. Glass. Right. No, I did not know this. I did not know that.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid.
Ooh. I have Cloverfield. Yeah, Matt Reeves directed that. Yeah, he's directing the new.
Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Is that the guy that's directing the new Superman movie?
Frank, I thought that was
That was
it.
a stupid,
Well, there's an
stupid.
opportunity wasted.
Just knocking him for a par, and let's forget about this one.
No, Matt Reeves is doing
Golf is
Batman,
not
isn't he?
about
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I love Cloverfield.
It's gonna hurt the course.
It's such a great
don't wanna
movie.
let this one
I
get
just
away.
got
This is
Kong
about
Skull
concentration and
Island.
focus
Kong
at this
Skull
point.
Island tonight on iTunes.
And with that,
Have you ever seen
ends the
that?
round
I really
with
like it.
66.
I'm a movie collector, so I've got like 209
And that does
movies
it
now
for us
on my
here at TPC
iTunes,
Sawgrass. Great day, Frank.
and
Yeah, chance for the players to play one of
like
the golf courses
I've got all
that
the
have
I've got the
become
complete
so
James Bond
famous over
collection.
the last
I've got all the
25
Rocky
to 30
movies. I've got all the Marvel
My
movies.
partner,
I've got all the
Frank
DC
Nobilo, and our
movies,
entire team.
all the Star
I'm
Wars
Rich Leonard
movies,
saying
all the
so
Star Trek
long from
movies.
TPC Sawgrass.
Got all the Alien
EA
movies.
Sports.
I've got Cloverfield. I've got all the monster movies. I've got Godzilla, King Kong, which I got tonight. As a completist, I have to get it. But I know a lot of people were. 4 movies in the contract. Which is becoming a saga now? Yeah, I like talking to you, man. You've got very similar kind of like aesthetic to me in terms of like what you like. I don't know. There's so many good films coming out at the moment that I think it's a case of kind of like weighing out the pros and cons of which ones. Like I will go and watch any superhero movie, to be honest with you, because I'm just a superhero nut, quite frankly. I know people are saying, oh, the genre's becoming tired. I'll always watch a superhero movie. My favourite genre. I know I said I'm a superhero nut, but that's actually not my favourite genre. My favourite genre, I think, would have to be. It used to be sci-fi. My favourite genre. I think. Do you know what? I think it's biopics. So stuff like biopics in terms of like things like Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street. They're probably my favourite movies. Martin Scorsese for me is my definitive director because he does great biopics of, you know, character studies. So I like things like Goodfellas. I love Wolf of Wall Street is one of my favourite movies of all time. I grew up loving Goodfellas at my dad because we used to like do all the impressions in that movie, you know. So I also like The Godfather. They're probably my favourite kind of films because the films I've watched the most are films like the 4 original Superman movies. Superman the movie is possibly my most cherished movie of all time. Back to the Future movies, the Star Wars movies, the stuff that everybody loves really. But I think if I had a definitive favourite movie, growing up it was Superman, the movie, the original one with Christopher Reeve. But I think now, in retrospect, if I'm being completely honest with you, my favourite movie of all time, it's a tie between, it's a 3-way tie actually. It's Goodfellas, The Godfather, or The Wolf of Wall Street. And a close second would be Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So yeah, I am looking forward to Kong and Godzilla. Yeah, I am looking forward to it. Yeah, what kind of books do you read? I mean, what would be your favourite book? I'm really, to be honest with you, I'm not so much a sci-fi fan when it comes to books. My favourite book, that'd be a tough one because I've got too many books. I've got a shitload of books. So now that I've become like a full-time carer for my folks, I read a lot. So I usually read a lot when I travel. So like if I'm going to the beach or something. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. Harry Potter. I like the Lord of the Rings. I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I love the Lord of the Rings movie. Return of the King is a fucking incredible film. I love it. I love the Twin Towers. The Two Towers. Twin Towers. I love the Two Towers. I love the first one. I like the Hobbit movies. you know, I think they got a bit unnecessarily slated. I'm not a massive fan of them, but I think they got way overly criticised. I think, do you know what the problem with the Hobbit movies was that you could have condensed... I have this crazy idea. I think they should have made the Hobbit movie into one ginormous 6-hour movie. And I think people would have gone and watched it. And I think it would have made a hell of a lot of money. It's just that the studios are too scared to screen anything over 3 hours. Frankenstein, Les Miserables, yeah, that's one of my. That's great. I like Sweeney Todd. Oh, I love the Dark Tower books. Yeah, I say I'm not into sci-fi books in a big way. I've got the whole. My favourite Dark Tower book is The Gunslinger. I love The Gunslinger. That's another great one. I like a lot of horror novels because I'm not a big horror. I do like horror movies, but I like a book to scare me. I'm not so much big into films that scare me, but I like a book because I think your imagination can take you to places in a book when it comes to thrillers and horror far more effectively than you can when you sat down watching a movie, because yeah, can fill in the gaps, whereas when you're watching a film, you know it's CGI, you know it's like practical effects. And yeah, I'm looking for it. I thought the trailer looked amazing. Have you seen the trailer? I love the trailer. I thought it was superb, quite frankly. A lot of people said, oh no, it doesn't look that great. I think the Dark Tower movies are going to be good, you know. I think the Dark Tower movies are going to be looked upon, and I could be completely wrong here, the same way as the Justice League movies and the DCEU movies, in that they're going to have a very kind of like, they're going to have a very divisive reaction to them. Yeah, you can't beat a book. In terms of like taking you to a place, you can't beat a book. I would probably say what's my favourite book? That's a difficult one. I don't know what my favourite book is. My favourite book. I can't think what my favourite book would be. Yeah, I've heard about this TV series, but I don't really know much about it, to be honest with you. Have you seen the trailer for The Inhumans? Yeah, I like The Hunger Games. See, I used to sit at work with all the lads and they'd be like, oh, The Hunger Games is crap. And I'd be like, yeah, but have you read the books? And they'd be like, yeah, but I've got no interest in reading the book. And I'd be like, well, don't talk to me then. But like, I used to say to them, you know, have you actually read the book? Because the book is fantastic. And it fills in all the gaps that the films, and I like the films, that the films don't tell you, you know. And like Mockingjay, the book is superb. I've never read Narnia for my sins. I'm a bookworm, and I've never read Narnia. Yeah, I like. I don't know why Inhumans is getting so badly torn apart by people online with that trailer. I love the dog. It looks great, you know. Black Lightning's going to be good. Yeah, it's. Wait, are you still on the beach now? Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to be completely honest with you about it. Do you mean IT or it? You mean the new? Sorry, because there is a film called IT out. Yeah, I can't wait for The Defenders. It's going to be good. You mean it? Sorry, the remake of the horror original, obviously. I'm assuming. Yeah, I thought you meant it. Sorry, yeah. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I'm a bit dubious. I really want it to be good. I just don't know. I'm so looking forward to it, because I always go in with a positive. Even if the film's got ripped apart by the critics once it's released and I still haven't seen it, I still go in with a positive attitude. But I have a horrible feeling about it. I don't know what it is. That poster I saw, its head was sticking out. I don't know. The clown looks really good, but I have this horrible feeling it's going to be a really cliched remake. I hope I'm wrong, and I will go in there with a positive attitude. Yeah, I watch all the Marvel Netflix series. I'm not a big fan of Daredevil, and I know that's a really unpopular opinion. My favourite one was Luke Cage. I love Luke Cage. Jessica Jones was good. I like The Purple Man. Yeah, I think David Tennant's an amazing actor. But I haven't gone back and watched Jessica Jones. I absolutely love Luke Cage because I grew up loving the comic of Luke Cage. So for me, the show is amazing. I just love it. It was kind of like Rocky mixed with... It was like Rocky mixed with Superman mixed with kind of like Boys in the Hood. It was just mixed with like a 70s vibe. It was just really cool. Yeah, I love Stranger Things. Can't wait for the second season. I love Stranger Things. The music. One of my favourite things about Stranger Things is the intro with the with the letters go away and yeah, man. Yeah, Fly. Jeff Goldblum. One of my favourite bits in that film is when he's picking his ear and he goes, oh, and he's looking at the camera and he goes, oh, just get a little bit, oh, and his ear comes off. It's one of my favourite. Oh, I love that film. That's one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I don't know if you've ever seen the original with Vincent Price, like from the 50s. It's like really kind of hokey and stuff, typical kind of like 1950s cheesy horror movie. But how they went from that to the 1980s one is just amazing. The rumour I've heard about Blade with Defenders, and I don't know if this is what you've heard, is that what they're going to do is, because everybody wants Wesley Snipes, obviously, but obviously he's got a lot older now. I still think he could pull it off. I think he could have an older Blade, because I'm pretty sure he can still pull off some moves. I watched him in Expendables 3 and I was like, yeah, he's still got it. I think this is what I've heard, is that they have a UFC guy in line to play Blade. Yeah, I loved Stranger Things. Like you said, it's Rocky, some of my favourite. Oh God, it's one of my favourite set of movies. I've got all the 7 movies. I really like Creed, the new one. But I think my favourite Rocky of all time, the first one, is obviously a masterpiece. I love it. And I love Rocky Balboa, number 6. And obviously Creed is a great movie as well. But you know what? I think my favourite Rocky movie of all time is Rocky 4, because of the montages. Yeah, Warriors. Whoever thought they were going to make a Warriors TV show? Like, because I'm a big fan of the original film, and I really like the game on the PS2 actually, but I love Warriors. A lot of people don't really know about that film. How old are you? Because if you like Warriors, then you've got to be sort of my age bracket or probably older. Got it. I hope Creed has 2 sequels, man. Because if Creed has 2 sequels, I loved Creed. I thought it was such a good film. I loved Creed. Creed was such a good film. What the perfect branch off for Rocky, because obviously, you know, Sly's getting older now, and he was great in that. It was just, it was the perfect segue to kind of, because I thought Rocky 6 was going to be the last one, but one of my favourite lines from Rocky Balboa is when he turns around. One of my favourite lines from Rocky Balboa is when he turns around and says, when he goes, you know, ain't nobody's gonna hit you as hard as life, but it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. When you keep getting moving forward and what you're gonna do about it, that's what how winning's done, and you're a winner, or something like that. I've messed it up. You know what I mean? I didn't know Adrian. It's a great speech. I've just completely messed it up now. I knew the line, but yeah, I will watch Split. I used to love Walking Dead. I don't watch Game of Thrones. Do you know, I haven't seen one episode of Game of Thrones. I'm literally the only person out of all my mates who doesn't watch it. I just don't like medieval stuff. Here's the really hypocritical thing. I ended up buying all the previous series at one point. They had a really good discount on iTunes, and I bought them because I thought, you know what, at some point I will end up trying to watch them. So I've got them ready to watch, but I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of like medieval stuff. It looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, the effects look amazing, and it looks very kind of engrossing, but I don't know, it's just one of those things that I've never really got into, to be honest with you, is medieval things. It just puts me off. I'm surprised I got into Lord of the Rings, to be honest with you, but that was really only because of the films and that I'd watched the cartoon as a kid. Yeah, it's such a... But it ain't about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. When you keep moving forward and then you get hit, that's how winning's done. And you're not a loser, you're a winner. Something like that. Yeah, it is. It's like when he went to Adrian's grave, I was like, oh man, yo Adrian, we did it. And Paulie died, like his... Hey, come on, Rock, I don't want to do this anymore. Rock. You're living in the past, Rock. You're living in the past. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. My favourite Rocky character, though, has got to be Apollo Creed. I love Apollo Creed. Like, he's my... Where do we go, Stallion? Where do we go? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. I love that. That's it. I could wax lyrical about Rocky. 2 seconds, mate. I just need to go and get myself a drink. I hope I'm not keeping you from the beach. Oh, and you're 35. Cool, man. Can you guess what age I am? No, I'm 38. I'll be 39 in September. So, hang on. 2 seconds. I'll be back. Yo. No, that's cool, man. Yeah, Mickey. Yeah, they all died. Yeah. That scene in Rocky 3 where Mickey dies, that breaks my heart, because I know some people find it quite funny when they shouldn't, you know, because the bit where he's like, did we win? Yeah, we won, Mick. We won, Mick. And then he dies, and then obviously Rocky goes, really? Mick? Really? It's like he's kind of going, but I like it. It's a brilliant, it's quite a powerful scene. And Rocky 3 is quite an underrated film, actually, because like I know it's got all the silly bits with Hulk Hogan at the beginning, and Clubber Lang is a bit of a kind of, that was the start of when Rocky started to become a bit more kind of like superhero-ish comical, and they got away from the serious realistic bit. But I love Rocky 3, and I love Mr. T in it when he's like, so Clubber Lang, what is your prediction for this match against Rocky Balboa? My prediction? Pain. That's a line. Oh yeah, man. Yes, I've watched Life is Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. When Rocky came back and it was all destroyed, and he saw that the ice rink where he was at and stuff, and but when he meets little Marie, and like falls in love with her and stuff, that was a really good storyline. I love the Planet of the. I've got all of those. Well, I've got the first two, so I'm not going to go and watch the new one in the cinema. I'm going to wait for it to come out on DVD, and which is what I've done with the new King Kong movie. I didn't go and see it in the cinema. I waited for it to come out on DVD. So yeah, I like the Alien movies. I love the Alien movies. I love Prometheus as well. I don't care what anybody says. And I enjoyed Alien Covenant. It wasn't the best one, but you know what? I enjoyed it. I like Prometheus. I love the visual design of Prometheus. Was it what I wanted? No. Was it as good as Alien? Nowhere near. Was it as good as Aliens? Nowhere near. But I'll be honest with you, I preferred Prometheus, and I preferred Alien Covenant to Alien 3 and Alien 4. I thought Alien 3 and Alien 4 are the weakest ones. Personally, I thought Prometheus was a very visually striking movie, and I thought Ridley Scott, you know, I think the internet has got such a hold on people's opinions now that like it becomes like a general social media consensus that so-and-so is really bad and so-and-so is really good, that if you say anything out of the parameters of that, then you're like a pariah, you know. It's a bit like, for me, I personally really like Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition, the extended version of it. The original version in the cinemas, I thought was, I came out of there going, oh god, what have they done? I've been looking forward to this movie my whole life. Then the extended edition came out, and I was like, whoa, why didn't they release this in the cinema? This is like a brilliant, really well thought out film. It's still got faults. The whole Martha thing could have been written better, but I don't see that scene as bad as everybody else does. I see that as Batman in that moment realizes that he's going to become no better than the killer that killed his parents, in that he's going to kill an innocent man. Not that, oh, our mums have got the same name. Okay, that was the trigger for it, and it could have been executed a lot better. The whole Martha name drop thing was badly done, I agree. But I think the essence of the scene is that, I think the essence of the execution are two different things. I think the essence of the scene is that what he was basically trying to say was that, you know, when he said save Martha, it triggered him going straight back to the moment when his parents died, and his dad said Martha. Hence, they focus on that bit at the beginning of the movie when it says Martha. Now, was it executed great? No, it wasn't. But I still like the idea of the scene. Oh God. Yeah, I would love a Rocky. I would absolutely love a Rocky game again. I had Rocky on the Xbox and I absolutely loved it.